Hi everyone, welcome to my tutorial for the folding mini album with its own little case to put it in. As you can see, I have already cut everything out. I'm going to start with the main part of the album. I've already inked the edges. I like to ink the edges, especially when it's white core cardstock that we're using. I've used, this is 230 GSM cardstock. I'd normally use something a bit thicker than this, but this will be fine. There's plenty of layers get glued together to strengthen it. So once you've cut everything out on the Cricut, you will see that you've got these parts here. This is the outer part. Whatever colours you decide to use, of course, is up to yourself. So you can see it folds in the way, so this is the outer part. So I'm going to glue that first. And I'm going to try and do this quickly so that it's not a great long video. And I'll try and get it lined up as best I can. Actual placement doesn't really matter as long as it's away from the fold there. I think that'll do it. As you can see, I'm gluing on a piece of kitchen towel. The reason I do that is that the kitchen towel picks up any bits off that goes over the edge. Remember and keep turning it though, otherwise you get sticky residue left in the towel, and the next bit you glue, it attaches itself to that. And I've just knocked something over there. What is it? I don't know. I'm also using Scotch glue sticks, if you can see that. You do get a bit of play once it's stuck down, which is useful sometimes. Now I am doing this quite quickly. I would normally make sure every square millimetre is covered in glue. As you can see, you can move it slightly, just press it down there. I like to try and use contrasting colours, or even just a plain colour for the main structure and then contrasting colours after that. But I've got an awful lot of cardstock paper stacks, and I should really thin out the stash, so I'm not using anything plain in these. Right, so that's the outside done. Inside, and again, it's virtually the same, except the big one isn't here. I have tried to sort out the colours on the cut file, but to be honest, I quite like it when it's totally random. I'm trying to work quickly and not talk at the same time because I can't do two things at once. As well, because I've used double-sided cardstock, it means if I don't like a particular colour on one side, it might be alright in the other. Right, so that's all you can do on that bit just now. So you can see how that's kind of going to work. So we're then going to start on the piece for the large flap. Now I've set this to cut upside down because I find the score lines fold better in the way rather than that way. And what I've cleverly done is cut these spacers, just very, very thick 1.5mm card, 2 bits glued together, and you'll see why in a second. It will make sense. So basically, I put the spacers here. I'll maybe show you that if you can see that on the camera. You'll see it when you cut it anyway. It's a double fold line, and the reason I've done that is so that there's a lot of space and behind it once it's folded, and it's not going to sort of try and stretch the paper or anything like that. So that's what the spacers are for, is just to keep that space in and get everything lined up. So I'll pop the spacers in, match them up to the fold line, or the first fold line. And this is the piece which you'll see, so I'm going to have it matching. So I need it that way down with the rounded corner there. Which will be that way. And once it's lined up, like I say, it's just a case of simply folding them over and gluing them. So let's glue these. Find a bit with no glue on it. I'm going to use plenty of glue here so that it's properly stuck down. Move that out of the way. Forgot the spacer after showing them off. And again, I've done this so that the inside flaps fold first. I'll take that out. Put the spacers back in. The reason for the spacers is it allows you to press it down without it distorting the card, which is worked. You can also use a ruler like that. As you can see, this glue stick, it grips really quickly and dries quite quickly as well, and it doesn't warp the card either. It doesn't like what PVA would do. Okay, so that is that one there. Now this one simply gets attached here, just like that. So let's put that one in place now. I'll put plenty over where the flaps are. I hope you can hear me okay. Just get that lined up. Don't put it too close to the crease line, otherwise it might not fold properly. Again, we'll just press that down. Bit of glue spewing out there. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to set a punch on there, just hold it down whilst it dries. So let's put it on there. Something else there. Okay, I think we'll do the centerpiece next. If I can find all the bits. I think we'll start with this bit here. This is one of the sort of pocket folds. These just get attached on here, that way round. Just more decorative, I suppose. So let's start with that. Lined up. I guess you could use double-sided tape for this, but I think that would probably take, well, I wouldn't have the patience for that. That one there. Now this one, these pieces, slightly more complicated to do. It was one of the bits that kind of worked in my head but didn't quite work when I did the first cut, but I've kind of worked it out now. So obviously I've pre-folded it. Don't glue that flap yet, that's the important bit. You want to be gluing this bits first, and I'm gluing them on the outside. Actually we do it that way around because that's the bit that you'll see. That lifts up as a flap. I think the first one I made, I glued them so the flaps were on the outside, but then when you lifted the flap, you could kind of see them and I just didn't like that, so I glued them on the outside. So let's glue the flaps first of all. Again, the spacers may come in useful here. So let's get the first one on lined up. I am going to use my ruler for this one just to knock that out a wee bit. I'll just use the ruler to press it down. That's fine. I'll do the same with this one. So again, we'll get the first one lined up first. And the ruler again, just to press it down. So that's the two pockets there. Right, the next bit, I'm going to have to pause the video because I have lost one of the bits, annoyingly. I may have to go and recut that. Right, I'm back again. I had completely failed to cut this piece, so I'm just going to cut it now. Quite an important bit because this forms the centre here, which is the main bit that kind of opens out. So we're going to glue this together first. So let's start with the thing that forms the pocket that the little album folds into. This is the bit that gave me a headache as well, another bit that gave me a headache first time round. So let's glue this flap first. And be quite particular with the placement of this one. Because you need to know you need to make sure that it's going to fold over properly. So when it's folded like that, it will line up with this bit here, roughly, as long as it's lined up with the fold, the crease line there. I'll just make sure that's properly stuck down. Just go over that with a ruler just to make sure. And then these flaps fold on glue on the inside. So let's glue these flaps. The ruler here just so I can press that down. Should be using the spacers, of course, which I'm not. Right, I'm just going to add a bit more ink to this edge here. Now there's also another piece that you'll see there that gets attached here. This creates a bit more depth, so let's stick that on. I'm not sure what way around to do that. I think I'm going to go with the green one. Yeah, let's go with the green. Again, you don't want to be putting too close to the folded edges there. I think, because it would be a weak point, I would think. I think we're good to go there. And then this next bit, this was a complicated one the first time I did this, but I've kind of got it worked out now. So we're just going to glue this flap. More glue. Just lucky that Amazon are still delivering, because they've been here every day this week with various bits and pieces. So this flap we're going to glue down close to, but not over or on the fold line. Put that quite near to the top. Make sure it's straight. Spot on. And then the other one is exactly the same underneath. And just to hide that flaps, I've got another one which I think we'll do it that way around. Actually, no, let's be this. See, you can't decide. Let's do this way. And place it just up to the crease line. Just make sure everything folds over. Yeah, spot on. I'm just going to add some more ink in there, I think. Perfect. Okay, so that's that bit there. That then just gets glued into the main piece here, and I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing. I think as long as the edges are properly glued, the rest of it doesn't need to be completely covered. Again, this one, just place it as close to the crease line as you can, but not over it and not on it, just so that everything closes properly. And just press that down. As you can see, it's now taking shape. Everything opening up there. Okay, so I've already done the inserts for these. So you'll find there's 12 pieces of small rectangles, and the glue 2 together, obviously. So you're left with 6. These are actually all the same. I would normally do them all differently, but for the purposes of this, they're all the same. And they just go in there like that. That one goes in there like that. And then with the sort of the folded book album, there are 3 smaller ones, which is made up of 6 smaller rectangles, again glued together, the same as the little wee ones, glued together, and they just sit in there. They're not held in or anything, and then that slots in there, like that, and then folds over. The weight of it also holds it down, which is quite good. And then in this pocket here, there's just 2. There's actually room for 3, I would think. You could do more. So there's 4 big rectangles. No, let's put ink in there. Just I caught on something, never mind. Can't see it now. And they just sit in there. So that's the 2 of them. And then I've got the memories one, which again I've already glued, obviously. This one's actually a little bit fiddly to do because of the thin border around the edge. And I would have done this in a contrasting colour, but I run out of paper, or card I should say. So it looks quite similar. For the camera one, I'm going to put that on with foam pads, or a foam pad. The reason being, you'll see once it closes up. So let's just cut out a big foam pad. Obviously you can alter the design to suit yourself. It doesn't have to be a camera. I just thought it seemed like a good idea with it being a photo album. And actually I think it works quite well. Now the reason that that's like that is because when you fold it over, which is that way, well, let's do this way first. You need the height there, so that just gives it that extra bit of height. You know what, I'm going to take one of them out because that's going to annoy me. Okay, so that's that bit done. The last part is the holder itself. I've not glued this yet, so let's glue the side pieces on. So again, it's all folded already. I've done the inking of the edges. I've also inked these bits as well. I find this bit quite fiddly to put together, but I'm sure we'll get there. Make sure this one's lined up properly. Obviously you don't need to add these parts on the front, but I quite like the look of it, and I think it gives it strength as well. Clean my hand, will it? Like that one. Right, now you'll notice on this file there's flaps that are slightly wider and squarer, and these have got a slight angle on them. Now the reason for that is that this is the outer flap, if you like, that one there. Like I say, it's a little bit fiddly to glue this together, but what I found was the best way to do it was to have this tiny flap in the middle, if you like that, and then glue this one in. So I'm going to glue this here. So if we glue this whole flap, and we'll do this bit at the same time, so let's glue that one. This bit of glue in the bit of bottom there. And like I say, it's because this glue, there is a bit of play in it before it dries. It should give me time to adjust everything. Just make sure the tops are lined up. And there's the pocket, just like that. And this then, hopefully, will just slot in there. And that's it, done. I'm actually really happy with these papers, I'm glad I used them. Oh, flaps the wrong way down though. Yeah, that's it. I do hope you enjoy making this. That didn't take very long. The first one I made took several hours, I think. Hope you have fun, and I hope to see some of your creations on the Facebook group. Thank you.